I'm Steve Harvey, Executive Director of the Transcendental Politics Foundation. Let's put this as simply and briefly as possible. We are participants in human history. Human history is a river of choice and chance. A lot of things result from aggregations of other things happening, and a lot of things result from intentional human efforts and organized efforts and innovations and the consequences of innovations and how we organize to take advantage of innovations to serve or to undermine human welfare. This is an ongoing thing. Part of the endeavor is the accumulation of knowledge and understanding, which we have refined into modern academe, universities, research, analysis, and scientific methodology. Part of the endeavor is serving our shared humanity, the expansion of an inclusive empathy and compassion, a sense that everybody has a right to have the same opportunities in life as anyone else, and that the ideal is to create a society, and I think a global society in some sense, in which we all have the opportunity to thrive. We all have the opportunity to take advantage of all that life has to offer, take advantage of our own humanity and the growth of our consciousness and the realization of our liberty and our happiness. And to see our children thrive, of course, in the same way. Um, and intentionality plays a big role in this. It's not the only factor. A lot of things happen sort of in an organic way that isn't reducible to anyone's intention. Some good things and some bad things. But a lot of things happen because of intentional efforts to make that happen. And that aggregate phenomenon is an aggregation of intentional efforts with both intended and unintended consequences. So we have organized religions, we have scientific methodology, which was intentional, university systems, civil rights movements, social movements. We have a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of it is because people are trying to make things happen in a certain way. The United States Constitution is one example. We got together a bunch of people for a summer in Philadelphia to try to improve on the Articles of Confederation and create a government with a federal government with more teeth. And we created a pretty remarkable constitution. Flawed, a lot more flawed than people give it credit for, but pretty remarkable, pretty good. And this is what we do when we're doing it right, when we're at our best. Transcendental politics is nothing more or less than a continuation of that effort in a focused but also general way. So we know that through scientific methodology and academic procedures and attitudes, attempts to control for our bias in methodological ways, attempts to understand the world analytically, and with imagination as well. As Einstein said, when all is said and done, imagination is more important than knowledge. So imagination is important. We can intentionally continue that and apply it to the other side of the challenge, which is serving our shared humanity, which is the civil rights movements, the abolition of slavery, the abolition of apartheid, the abolition of Jim Crow, the abolition of colonialism, all in many ways works in progress. But the expansion of rights and opportunities to more and more people, the recognition of everyone's human dignity. So transcendental politics is say, let's take everything we have, the accumulated wisdom and efforts of humanity, the accumulated experience of humanity, and let's make that our social movement. Let's make this focusing on taking the corpus of academic knowledge and philosophical knowledge and literary knowledge and imaginative insights anchored in reason. Let's take that and leaven it with empathy and compassion and humility, knowing that we don't know and that we're continuing to learn and that whatever we think is true needs to be tested, and that maybe that other person over there who's sure they know what is true, if they make a better argument, maybe we should consider the validity of their argument. Take all that together and turn it into a rallying place for all reasonable people of goodwill. Give it a substantial framework based on procedures that are already developed, procedures at reducing conflict, at bargaining, at debating, at persuading, to take all of this and use it as the definition of our social movement, kind of an ongoing civic academy in which we don't define membership by what you believe. We don't define membership by what your positions are. We don't define membership by what your conclusions are. We define membership by your commitment to trying to understand and your commitment to caring about humanity. Put those together, a sincere commitment to continuing to try to understand, knowing that perhaps each of us, our understanding is imperfect, and we're going to keep trying, and we're going to keep listening, and we're going to keep evaluating information and arguments honestly and not dogmatically and tribally. That's one piece of it. The other piece of it, we're going to mobilize all that in service to our shared humanity. Try to make the world a better place. Try to reduce the suffering and destitution and hardship and brutality and oppression in the world. Try to increase the opportunity and welfare and liberty in the world. And that's it. That's it. That's transcendental politics. Domestically, it means less identification with ideological tribes, less entrenchment in ideological dogmas, and more commitment to rational civil discourse in which we bracket off what we think we know and we look for and listen to the very best arguments challenging what we think we know. Instead of finding information that confirms what we think we know, looking for information that challenges it, because that's the best way to truly refine our understanding. On the shared humanity side of the equation, again, we're transcending our tribalism. It's not about serving my people, people who look like me, people who speak like me, people who live in my geographically designated area. It's about serving our shared humanity. All of these other forms we've created are forms on the way to doing a better job of that. And we still have a ways to go. So this is what we're here for. This is the short message, because 20-minute videos rambling on are maybe a bit too much. So come join us. Come look at our Facebook group page, Transcendental Politics. Come to transcendentalpolitics.org. Drop me an email, steve@transcendentalpolitics.org. I'll talk with you. I'll come talk to any group of yours in the Denver area. If you want to fly me out somewhere, I'll talk to any group anywhere. And let's make this happen. Let's make the mission of being wiser, more imaginative, more rational, more empathetic, more humble, and more humane people. Let's make that our shared mission, the shared mission of all people who truly want to strive to be reasonable people of goodwill. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to talking with you in the near future.